Good morning students, welcome again, and in this video we will discuss the rest part of the chapter democracy. In part 1 we have discussed so many things like what is the meaning of democracy, different levels of government, features of democracy, different forms of government, people's power, means all that things we have discussed earlier. So in this part we will discuss the rest part of the chapter. Let's continue with this chapter. As you know that in democratic country people has all the powers are vested in the hands of people. People are the supreme authority and they indirectly rule over their country. Means, how do citizens of a country participated in its government? Means the process of election. This is the process of election by which people can participate in the in forming their government. Means that in a democracy all the citizens whose age is above 18 years has right to vote. So by using that right they can participate in forming their government. All adult men and women vote to elect their representative, and in doing so they are indirectly participating in the governments of the country. If the country having a large number of population, so there will be indirect democracy. In that type of democracy, people first choose their representative, and that representative represent that particular area from which they won the election in the parliament on behalf of the people. The elected ones take part in the government directly but on the behalf of the entire community. Entire community means the area, the region from where they won the election. If people are not satisfied with their government, they can remove it in the next election. Now the people have all the power if they are not satisfied with the work of their government. So they can remove that government after the fixed term of 5 years. They will not going to give vote to that particular government. People not only elect their government but also control it. The policy of government reflects the wishes of the people, that is the public opinion. Means public opinion means what? Means whatever the people wants. First government should know the people's want, what are the people of that particular country are demanding. Every citizen has role to play in shaping the destiny of country. Elections and public opinion are two important tools democracy with which people can fulfill this responsibility. Means elections, through the process of election people can participate in the government, and through the public opinion by giving their ideas to the government they can fulfill this responsibility. Another important feature of the democracy is rule of law. Rule of law is everyone is equal before the law. No one is above the law. So everyone means whether they are from any caste, any class, any gender, means any religion, they can they have equal rights. No one is above the law, and it means that all are equal before the law. The president of the country and any ordinary citizen get the same protection of the law. Means no one is above the law. President or even the president or prime minister are bound to follow the rules regulation which are mentioned in our constitution. No one is above the law. It makes no distinction between the rich and poor and or the educated and uneducated. It also ensured that there is no one above the law. However powerful person may be, she or he is bound by the law of the country. Means all are bound to follow the rules and regulations of the country. The rule of law also provides protection to the individuals against social evils such as untouchability, child marriage, sati, and other forms of the discrimination. Means to stop all these practice in our country. There is an act which are passed by our government to prohibit all this social evils, so the people can live peacefully. Means the rule of law also provides protection to the individuals. There are some fundamental rights are mentioned in our constitution through which people can develop their personality. If any of these fundamental rights are violating by any government or any individual, then people who are facing difficulties can move to the court. So the rule of law also provides protection to individuals against the social evils such as untouchability. Means all these things, child marriage, sati pratha, other forms of other forms of discrimination, all these things are abolished from our society according to some of the acts of the constitution. Untouchability system means according to the article 17 of our constitution, untouchability system has been abolished. If someone is practicing it in the hidden manner, they can get the punishment because it is a punishable crime now. Now, who makes laws for us? As you know that Parliament makes laws for us, but in monarchy system and dictatorship, the dictator or the king or the queen are the lawgivers. But in it may be done directly by the people, but in democracy it is the people who makes laws for themselves. Means in democratic country people are lawgiver. Means law are made according to the people's requirement in the democratic country. It may be done directly by the people themselves or indirectly through their representative. In our country, it is the parliament constituted by the representative of the people which makes laws for us. Means according to the requirement of the people, the government makes laws for us. Parliament makes laws for us. Similarly, state assemblies. It is the responsibility of the state assemblies to make laws for that particular states. Even if certain elements of democracy like the system of election, public opinion, rule of law are present in a country, it may not yet to be truly democratic in the wider sense of the term. Why? Means after having all these elements in our democratic country, people are still practicing the untouchability system and dowry system, all these things. Means so because of the presence of all these social evils, we can't say that we are living in the true democratic country. Because untouchability system, in that system some of the portion of the society are not getting equal rights. So if someone is not getting equal rights, how can we say that we are living in the democratic country? So because of these social evils, we are not living in the true democratic country. Democracy is not just a form of government, it is a form of society also, it is a form of economy also. In other words, the value of democracy is such as, these are the values of democracy like justice, freedom and human dignity. All these are the important features. Means justice, freedom, human dignity, these things are given to the citizen of the democratic country, should be deeply embedded not only in the political system but also in the social and economic life of the people. The granting of right to vote is not enough to establish the democracy. Means to grant this right to their citizen, it is not enough to establish a democratic country. There should be democratic society also and the economic democracy to make it really meaningful. Means people should use all these rights in their practical life also. and only then can we call it complete democracy. It is very important for us to understand this wider meaning of the democracy. Now the democratic society. Democratic society means when a people enjoy democratic society. What do you mean by? Democratic society. When people enjoy the right to elect and remove their rulers, it is a political democracy. Why it is a political democracy? Because this right means voting rights is a right related to the political field. But the social life of the people can still be filled with the various forms of injustice like dowry system and untouchability system. Thus a democratic government becomes meaningful only if the society is democratic. In other words, there should be no discrimination of any kind in the democratic society. If people are discriminating on the basis of their caste, on the basis of their race, on the basis of their class, so if they are discriminating on the basis of these things, so we can't say that this is the true democratic country. Events like the caste system and untouchability spoil the democratic structure of the society. Means feature of the democracy is that everyone is equal before the law, and every citizen in the democratic have equal rights. If someone is means people are discriminating on the basis of untouchability system and their caste, their gender, according to all these things, then we can't say that it is a true democratic country. All men and women should be treated equally. No one should enjoy more privilege than others on the basis of religion, caste, race and place of the birth. Means no one should be given facilities according to their caste, class, color of the skin, all these things. The caste system that existed in India gave rise to untouchability in the past. As you know that during the British time, people were discriminating on the basis of color of the skin, and these were also in the South African countries. We call that apartheid system. Means people were discriminating on the basis of color of the skin, and Britishers considered themselves as a white people, and they considered Indians as a black people. Although it has now been abolished by our constitution, it had already created a wall between the so-called high caste or the low castes. It not only divided our society but also deprived the large section of the people on the basic rights. Means caste distinction. Caste distinction means people are divided on the basis of their caste, means between the lower caste and the upper caste. But now at present our constitution has abolished this caste system. It not only divided, a democratic society should be able to remove all these social differences. Means if the country is democratic country, and they are not, they should not be, they should not follow these caste differences in their society, so that we call it true democratic country. A democratic society should be able to remove all these social differences. Thus, a truly democratic government is possible only with a democratically organized society. Means if country having democratic forms of government, all the social evils should not be present in their society, like untouchability system, caste distinction, all these things. Otherwise we can't say that that country is true democratically organized society. Now the another term is economic democracy. Economic democracy means the citizen of the democratic country have equal economic opportunity to earn their livelihood. Does it mean that all should earn the same amount, and or that all should live in the same types of houses, or that qualification should not be of any consideration for getting the employment? No, it is it only means that all should have equal opportunities to be employed or to set up their business. Means all are free to choose their jobs and to choose their business. Economic democracy also means the absence of all types of exploitation. In previously women, and there was a discrimination between the payment of women and the payment of men according to their work. Means the female were getting less amount in comparison to the payment of the male person. But that is, workers should not be exploited by owners, and peasants should not be exploited by the landlords. Equal wages should be given for the equal work. Means the payment of the wages for male and female should be equal according to their work. There can be no economic democracy if there is no fair distribution of wealth in the society. If the wealth are not equally distributed, means there is a concentration of the wealth in the few hands and rest of the portion are living below the poverty line, we can't say that there is a economic democracy there. If democracy is based on the two principles, that is liberty and equality, means these are the two essential conditions of the democratic country. Depriving someone of her or his means of livelihood goes against the very ideal of the economic democracy. It denies one's right to equal opportunity or economic growth. Thus, democratic government will be meaningful only if its citizens are socially and equal and economically free. Means if someone is violating anybody, means rights of anybody, so we can't say that that country is true democratic country. And thus a democratic government will be meaningful only if the citizens are equally socially free in their society. So next, your chapter is finished. Now let's start the question answer. First category is MCQs. First, question number A, tick the correct answer. Some of the options are given here and you have to put a tick mark over the correct option. First is, village panchayats are dash institution at the local level. Options are monarchical, democratic, dictatorial, military. The correct option is democratic. Second is, dash means the rule by an unelected, all-powerful dictator. Options are junta, democracy, dictatorship, and absolute monarchy. Dictatorship, the answer is dictatorship means rule by an unelected, all-powerful dictator. Now the third is, in India we have dash democracy. Options are liberal, direct, consensus, indirect. The answer is indirect. Fourth is, democracy implies rule of the dash. Options are government, king, military, common people. Now the correct option is rule of the common people. Fifth is dash and dash are two important tools of democracy with which people can shape the destiny of the country. Options are elections and public opinion, rule of law and equality before the law, fixed term government, village panchayats and local institutions. Now the correct option is elections and public opinion. Sixth, in India, the dash makes laws for us. Options are a government, Supreme Court, Parliament, village panchayat. Now the correct option is Parliament. Seventh is dash democracy is when people enjoy the right to elect and to remove their rulers. Options are economic, political, social, constitutional. Correct option is political. Now eighth, there can be no dash democracy if there is no fair distribution of wealth in the society. Options are political, social, economic, equal. Now the correct option is economic. Now next category is short answer question. Question number B. First question is, what do you mean by absolute monarchy? Name one country which follow this form of government. Now the answer is, an absolute monarchy means rule by a king or a queen who exercises absolute power. The Vatican City, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar are examples of absolute monarchy. I am repeating once again this answer. The question is, what do you understand by absolute monarchy? Name one country which follows this form of government. In the question asking for only to give the name of only one country, but I have given some few names. Answer is, an absolute monarchy means rule by a king or a queen who exercises absolute power. The Vatican City, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Qatar are examples of absolute monarchy. Now the second question is, what is direct democracy? Is it practical to follow it in India? In direct democracy, the government is elected and run directly by the people. No, it is not practical to follow direct democracy in India because of its large population. I am repeating this answer once again. Question is, what is direct democracy? Is it practical to follow it in India? In direct democracy, the government is elected and run directly by the people. No, it is not practical to follow direct democracy in India because of its large population. Now the third question is, why is India called a democratic republic? India is called a democratic republic because both the president and the government are elected by the people. President, the head of the state, and the Prime Minister, the head of the government, are elected by the people. So India is called Democratic Republic. Fourth question is, what are two principles on which democracy is based? Now the answer is, equality and liberty are the two principles on which democracy is based. Next category is short answers for the following question. Once again, previous one was the very short and this is short answer questions. Question number 1, what is village panchayat? Now the answer is, democratic institution at the local level are called village panchayats. They provide a platform to the people to discuss and decide on matters concerning their life in the village. The village panchayat helped Sushila in terminating her marriage. I am repeating once again. Democratic institutions at the local level are called the village panchayat. They provide a platform to the people to discuss and decide on matters concerning their life in the village. The village panchayats helped Sushila in terminating her marriage. If you go through the chapter thoroughly, you can get all the answers because questions are very easy. Now the second question is, how do citizens in a democratic country participate in the government? Now the answer is, the citizens in a democratic government participate in the government through the process of election. All adult men and women vote to elect their representatives. The elected representatives govern the country on behalf of the people. If people are not satisfied with the government, they can remove it in the next election. I am repeating this answer once again. The question is, how do citizens in a democratic country participate in the government? Answer is, the citizen in a democratic government participate in the government through the process of election. All adult men and women vote to elect their representatives. The elected representatives govern the country on behalf of the people. If the people are not satisfied with the government, they can remove it in the next elections. Now the third question is, explain why democracy is much more than just a form of government. Answer is, democracy is much more than just a form of government. It is also a form of society and a form of economy. Justice, freedom, and human dignity are values of democracy. Only when these values are deeply embedded in the political, social, and economic life of the people can democracy be made meaningful. I am repeating this answer once again. Question is, explain why democracy is much more than just a form of government. Answer is, democracy is much more than just a form of government. It is also a form of society and a form of economy. Justice, freedom, and human dignity are values of democracy. Only when these values are deeply embedded in the political, social, and economic life of the people can democracy be made meaningful. Now the next category is long answers, long questions. Question number 1, write a note on election. Answer is, people exercise their political power through elections. All adult men and women vote to elect their representatives, and in this way they participate in the governance of the country. The elected representative take part in the government on behalf of the people. If the people are not satisfied with their government, they can remove it in the next election. Now repeating again, note on election. People exercise their political power through elections. All adult men and women vote to elect their representatives, and in this way they participated in the governance of the country. The elected representatives take part in the government on behalf of the people if the people are not satisfied with their government, they can remove it in the next election. Now the second question is, what do you understand by rule of law? Answer is, rule of law means all are equal before the law. It makes no distinction between the poor and the rich, or the educated and uneducated. In doing so, it ensures that no one is above the law. Rule of law also provides protection to individuals against social evils like sati, child marriage, untouchability, and various other forms of discrimination. I am repeating once again, you have to write the meaning of rule of law in second question. Answer is, rule of law means all are equal before the law. It makes no distinction between the poor and the rich, or the educated and uneducated. In doing so, it ensures that no one is above the law. Rule of law also provides protection to individuals against social evils like sati, child marriage, untouchabilities, and various other forms of discrimination. Now the third question is, what is democratic society? Answer is, a democratic society is one in which there is no discrimination. It is a society in which evils like untouchability and caste system are not practiced. Everyone is treated equally. Excuse me. Everyone is treated equally and is provided with equal opportunities for growth and development. No one is given more privilege than the others on the basis of race, color, religion, or place of birth. Now I am repeating once again. A democratic society is one in which there is no discrimination. It is a society in which evils like untouchability and caste system are not practiced. Everyone is treated equally and is provided with equal opportunities for growth and development. No one is given more privilege than the others on the basis of race, color, religion, or place of birth. Now the last question is, what is economic democracy? Economic democracy, answer is, economic democracy means that all should have equal opportunities to be employed or to set up their own business. It also means absence of exploitation. Workers should not be exploited by owners and landlords. Peasants should not be exploited by landlords. There should be equal wages for equal work irrespective of their gender. Now I am repeating once again the answer. Question is, what is economic democracy? An economic democracy means that all should have equal opportunities to be employed or to set up their own business. It also means absence of exploitation. Workers should not be exploited by owners and peasants should not be exploited by landlords. There should be equal wages for equal work irrespective of gender. Now your question answer is finished. So in next video we will start with the new chapter, that is from history. So till then, take care.